On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the gentleman who is responsible for starting the conversation about personality. I'm annoyed. Do you want to see it? No. What is the name of the gentleman who is solely responsible for starting personality? I have two people. I have three people. Marissa. Freud, yes. Okay, Freud believes your personality is broken into three components. On your whiteboard, what are those three components? Hopefully you guys did something in your parents' book this weekend, yes? Now, it was beautiful outside, and I didn't want to do my work either. What is it, Deja? Yeah. On your whiteboard, your conscious experience is broken up into three different sections. What are they, Carson? That was for you, by the way.
Unconscious, preconscious.
Oh, that's what I was back on.
All right. Please listen. You have 2 weeks of AP Psych left. That's it. Like you, in 2 weeks from right now, you will be about to transition into your FRQs. You have 2 weeks, and then you are done. When you show up 2 weeks from tomorrow, I'm going to ask you how it went. We're going to vote on a bunch of movies in order. Okay? And then I'm going to write them down on the board so we don't have to have a conversation about it. Like, do you understand how close you are to having no do-nows, no quizzes, nothing? Okay? But we ain't there. Okay, so I did pass back. If you did a makeup exam, I passed back your FRQs and your multiple choice. Please take a look at that. I cannot stress enough that if you did a makeup exam, a makeup mock, you need to come see me, Cat, stop wasting my ink. You need to come see me and go through the exam like we did that following Monday. For everyone who took it on Saturday, we went through it on Monday. How helpful was that? I mean, that's the point. The mock is a tool to figure out what you do and do not know. If you just take it and look at your score, are you really that much better? Was it worth sitting here for 2 hours doing it? No, absolutely not. So come see me. I have everything for you. You could do it in less than 15 minutes, people. It's definitely worth it. You have 2 weeks to go. There's no do-nows. There's no conversation. I look at the list. I put the movie in. I don't speak. 2 weeks. In a day. I need you here. I need you every day. We need to be able to move quickly, transition quickly. Yes, I'm burnt out. This weather is too pretty to be sitting in a classroom with you people. Okay, I want to be by my pool, reading my book that I want to read, not AP World, because I don't read psych. I don't have time for people. Sorry. Everyone clear on that? You have 2 weeks, and then nothing. Then we vote on movies. That's the hardest decision we'll make. Okay? Give me 2 more weeks, and then we're done. Okay? So keep that in mind as you're going through your Barron's book, because I know at this point you're over it, aren't you?
Yes.
Absolutely over it. You look at that damn book, and you're just like, I want to burn you. I know. And you should be feeling that way, because I feel that way. I am so over AP Psych. I'm over it. But we have 2 weeks, we work hard for 2 weeks, and then we do nothing for 3. Nothing. So keep that in mind as we go. All right, on your whiteboard, nope, I'm going to review some things. Okay, and then I'm going to quiz you on it. So here we go. So I'm going over personality today. I'm going to try to get as far as I possibly can. Personality loves Freud. So I have to spend my time with Freud. So when we talk about Freud, we're talking about, he's the founder of the psychoanalytic, obviously, foundation of the psychodynamic. He sees the conscious experience in 3 different ways: the pre-conscious, the conscious, and the unconscious. Now, when we talk about pre-conscious, Sydney, what did you have for dinner last night? Perfect. You did exactly what I wanted. Who here had ham? Was it good? Mine was dry.
Mine was pretty good.
Yours was pretty good? All right. Who here had lamb? No one had lamb? It's like the one day of the year lamb's like super popular in the United States, but not here. Okay. Anyway, so your pre-conscious is everything that you can easily recall. It just takes you a second to do it. Like, what movie did you watch this weekend? Hunger Games? Twilight?
It was on
Finding
it was
Dory.
on ABC Family.
All right. So it takes you a second, but you're easily recall. That's pre-conscious, just below your conscious level. Conscious is what class are you sitting in?
Right.
Hopefully some of us could recall very quickly. I'm afraid some of you are like, Okay, so conscious means you can easily think of something. Who here would love a piece of chocolate? There you go. Who here is thinking taking a nap sounds pretty damn great? Okay, all of those things are in your conscious experience. No one was like, oh, a nap? Yes. No one was like, yes, nap, yes, chocolate, okay? And your unconscious, so all those things that you think, your feelings, your emotions that you keep really deep, dark, and hidden, memories. Like, for instance, this morning, I never change my music while I'm in my car driving. I'm very good about not being on my phone while driving. I also drive a stick. So, like, there's, like, a lot of, like, moving parts. And so driving a stick and being on your phone is no good. But this morning I made a terrible decision to change the song while I was driving. And I was taking a corner, and everything worked out. It really did. But I took the corner and I was like, oh my God, if someone was crossing that sidewalk, like crossing, I would have never seen them and I would have killed them. And now all day long I've been thinking, what would I do if I hit someone? You know, like, and so all day long, that's all I've been thinking about is like, oh my God, and this is who I am as a person, neurotic. That has literally ruined the whole day because I'm now stressed about, that would be my unconscious mind is thinking now about death. Yeah, so.
What is Darcy here?
I know, it's at 6:15 that happened to me this morning. Yeah, so when you're thinking about Freud, everything about Freud can be tied to this whole iceberg kind of thing. So the conscious is contact with the outside world. Your pre-conscious is everything in your head that interferes with the outside world. And then your unconscious is everything completely on your own. I think we all have these deep, dark, twisted thoughts deep in our subconscious that you have no idea how they got there, but they sit there, and every once in a while they present themselves. Yes? Hello? Am I the only one who has weird, twisted things in their head? Okay, I hope not. Okay? Then we also have our ego, our id, and our superego. Now, when we talk about id, ego, superego, AP loves it. And this is where you guys have problems organizing your principles. So if you're going to write something down, I mean, if you have your notes out from this week, great. Put stars next to them because you guys always do struggle with this. When we talk about the id is the what? You can raise your hand and kind of explain the id to me. Brittany.
It's just pleasure, the pleasure principle.
Okay, but summarize, what is the id?
It's like all of. Oh, immediate gratification.
Sort of. Drew, help me out.
It's like animalistic.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Toby, my little Toby, when I pour his food, he's like, oh my God, I don't want to eat too fast because, you know, it'll upset my stomach. My man goes straight from 0 to 100, eats all of his food, literally just like shoves it in his face, and then he burps for like 15 minutes because he ate too fast. Okay? Toby sees food, I'm hungry, Toby's always hungry, he always eats it. Animalistic. Food, sex, water. Okay? Those are the big motivations. It's all based on pleasure principle. So for instance, I stopped at the CVS on Henderson this morning because McCray and I are terrible grown-ups, and we forgot that everything was closed yesterday because of Easter. So we have nothing in our house because we're terrible grown-ups. We couldn't go grocery shopping. So this morning I stopped to get a protein bar, and as I was walking through CVS, I saw Easter candy was 50% off. I know. So my end goal is to be like healthy and in shape, but the Samantha goal for the day is to eat Easter candy. So I bought a little bag, and by little, it's not really little, but it makes me feel better saying little. I bought a little bag of Reese's peanut butter cups, and they're sitting in my little freezer back there. Yes. So the pleasure principle is every time I have an excuse to go by my desk, I grab 3 things, even though it's not in my end goal, ladies and gentlemen. I want to be healthy. I want to be in shape. That's not my end goal, but my pleasure principle says, eat the chocolate. I can hear it. Can you hear it whispering to me? I'm nice and cold. It's delicious. Pleasure principle. I do whatever I want, even though it goes against everything I want for my long term. Yes? Okay. Ego is the thing that balances. Okay? So you have the id, which is your animalistic. What does the super ego do, Michael?
asked to eat it. But it turns out, like, makes you actually do good things.
Makes you what?
Do like good things.
Do like good things, and how would you simplify? Who can have Michael up?
No, like
What do you got?
donating to like charities and stuff.
Okay, donating to charities would be the example kind of need to do. You need your head up. What would be it? Simplify for me.
It's like your morals.
Yeah, it's all of your morals. Everything that makes you a good person is done by your super ego. Okay, are we always good people all the time? No. I mean, I am, obviously. But yeah, so your super ego, and your ego is the one that gets pulled back and forth between the two. What is the best way to think of your ego and your super ego? What is the simplest way to kind of think about it? Malai? Angel and the devil, and you're the ego listening to both sides. So when we talk about the ego, we deal with the reality principle, okay? We are all dealing with social pressures, okay? You guys have it worse because you're in high school. And that's really hard, and you're surrounded by thousands of your peers. I am being surrounded by high schoolers who are super judgy, and peers who are also incredibly more super judgy. And so I'm getting... my reality is being aware of what my peers think, what those students in front of me think, and obviously people in like my genuine life. That's my reality principle. So, like for instance, I know what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, what my flaws are and not. Like for instance, McCray came into town on Friday, and he came home, and he's like, "Damn." I was like, "What?" He's like, "A rough week." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You've broken out so bad." Yes, it's true. It was really bad. And it's still not great. And he's like, "Oh my God, do you have the worst acne at plant?" I was like, "Probably." We've been married for 4 years. We've been together 12. It's fine. It's
12
fine.
years.
It's
Wow. So you guys
not
were dating for 8 years before you got married.
Yeah, we took our sweet time. Take your time. When you get married, take your damn time. Make sure it's your best friend. Anyway, so the reality principle is I know this is not cute. I know. My husband reminded me.
It's not fun.
He's like, "You're going to put makeup on when we go to the dog park, right?" Yeah, thanks, jerk. Anyway, so reality principle is knowing what society thinks, what I think, what is all that stuff, and how it all mixes together. Does that make sense? So I know that I am not a perfect person, and I know sometimes it gets really rough. And so the reality principle is knowing that people will totally judge if I walk around with no makeup on. So you're welcome. You're welcome. Saved all of your lives by putting on makeup this morning. Super ego is the ego ideal. Okay, all of us in our head have the perfect ideal vision of ourselves, correct? We always stop and do the right thing. We always say the right thing at the right moment. We go well out of our way to help the little old lady walking across the street. Okay, we never get anxious and like honk our horns in traffic because people are morons. Okay, ego ideal is the moral set standard that we're our best person all the time. And this is done by our conscience, you know, a little Jiminy Cricket who sits on our shoulder saying, "Don't do it. Don't do it. Do the right thing." Okay? Everyone good? All right, to the boards. Here we go. On your whiteboard, please tell me what principle controls the ego. What principle controls the ego? What is it, Sydney? Reality. On your whiteboard, what principle controls the id? Good. What is it, Dibs? Pleasure. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what are the 3 parts of your personality according to Freud? What?
So what's the principle?
Super ego. It's your...
Is there
We'll ask here in a second. It doesn't say principle, but it is. What is it, Mackenzie? On your whiteboard, what is the principle that controls your super ego? It doesn't say principle, but it is the guiding ideal. What is it? Alexandra? Ego ideal. It just doesn't say principle, but it is the principle of the group. Okay? On your whiteboard, who's the guy behind id, ego, super ego, pre-conscious, conscious, and subconscious? Good. Malai? Freud. On your whiteboard, please tell me. Nope, I'm good. All right, everyone good on them? Yes? Okay. All right, so here we go. Psychosexual stages. Just when we thought we got away from them. Alright, so when you don't naturally go through your psychosexual stages, you have a thing called a fixation according to Freud. Now keep in mind, when we talk about the psychosexual stages, there are 5 stages that everyone has to go through. If you don't progress naturally, you have a fixation, and adjust with all of your sexual development throughout your development. That sexual growth affects your personality, and that's why we talk about it. So the first stage is your oral stage. It is when a baby puts everything into his mouth. Freud thinks it's because babies get sexual pleasure from putting things in his mouth. But if you're a developmental psychologist, how would you rationalize baby putting things in their mouth all the time? Drew?
Their sight is really bad, so they have to use their senses to.
Okay, so they have to use their senses. What else?
Their like teeth are growing, so they have to like, you know, when babies like chew on stuff because their mouth hurts and their teeth.
Okay, mouth hurts. But really, what's the biggest reason here, people? No. Malai? Not Malai. Milan? Okay, no. Hi. They have more sensations from their mouth than anywhere else in their body. They have more neurons, more neurotransmitters, more nerves in their mouth than they do anywhere else. Like we have a bunch of nerves in our fingers, which is why we can do fine motor movements, correct? Hello? They have nothing. They don't feel really anything. Does that make sense? Hello? So they put it in their mouth because they get the most feeling from their mouth. That's the biggest reason. Freud thinks they get sexual pleasure. Developmental psychologists think, well, they can just feel more of it. Okay? The id dominates it. A little baby doesn't, poops when it wants to poop, right? They're not like, oh man, mom would really enjoy if I did this in 15 minutes because she'll have more time in her schedule. Do they think like that? Or they're like, it's poop time! And they just poop, I guess. I don't know. Do they? I don't know. I don't hang out with kids. The anal stage is your second stage. This is when kids from 1 to 3 years old have receive essentially sexual pleasure from pooping. This is when you're dealing with potty training. What happens is that little kids, when they poop in their pants, they won't say anything until it starts getting cold, and then it doesn't feel as comfortable anymore, and that's why. So a little baby will sit there happily in its mess until like a half an hour when it finally starts like really cooling down to the touch. And it's because they develop this sense of like accomplishment and they get arousal from it. Ego is going to start developing where they're kind of like, man, mommy doesn't want me to poop in my pants anymore, but I like it, but I shouldn't because mommy doesn't like it. What do I do? Do I poop in my pants because I like it or do I not? If you had trouble with potty training, you have an anal expulsive personality, which means you're messy, destructive, and hostile. If it frustrated you that you were no longer able to sit in your mess, you're a dirty, disgusting person. Okay? If your parents took it to the extreme potty training and made you feel gross and disgusting for pooping in your pants as you were learning, then you became anal retentive, which means everything had to be absolutely perfect and perfectly straight and perfectly clean, and that would shape your personality. Okay? So your next stage, the third stage, is your phallic stage. Phallic is from 3 to 6 years old. This is when little boys and little girls are like, I'll show you what I have, you show me what you have. And they're like looking at it and they're touching their own all the time. Okay? That is when we start having the superego start developing. Okay? The superego says it's morally wrong. No, don't do that. Girls don't do that. Boys don't do that. And you get your hands swatted away from touching yourself and all that stuff. That's a phallic stage. Where you start being told and start feeling guilty that you're doing it, but you want to do it, but you feel guilty, superego. And then you have your Oedipus complex goes on during here, which is the whole belief that you want to have sex with the opposite sex parent. So if you're daddy's girl, Freud would say it's because you want to have sex with your father. And that you don't like your mother that much because you're jealous that your mother gets to have sex with your father. And if you're a boy, it's the opposite. You're the mommy's boy because you want to have sex with your mother and you're mad at your father, and it kind of goes like that. And that's from 3 to 6. During this stage, you're going to see a lot of little girls try to dress just like their moms. A lot of boys try to dress like their dads. Freud says you're trying to court your mother. Court your father. Yep. Aren't we glad we're back? Your next stage is latency stage. Latency is about 8 to about 12. This range is when nothing really sexually Stimulating is happening. It's called latency. We're focusing on our social connections. This is all like your middle school where you're just trying to have friends, right? You're all trying to blend in. If you go to a middle school today, they all look the same. Have you noticed? They all look the same. Okay? All the boys have like one model and they all try to emulate it as much as they can. All the girls have one model and they try to emulate it as much as they can. Everyone's just trying to fit in. And then you have the genital, which is, you're like, yes, let's have sex with other people. And that's what you do. You try. And that's from 13 to death. And that's your genital stage. Questions, concerns, comments? Got a little sag. All right, to the boards. Here we go. On your whiteboard, give me all 5 psychosexual stages in order. What are you writing? What's your acronym?
It's an acrostic.
You just have that much time?
Yeah.
All right. What are they, Drew? Whatever works, I guess.
Oral, anal, phallic, latent, genital.
There you go. On your whiteboard, what age, what stage are you in from 3 to 6? Good. What is it, Dibs? On your whiteboard, please tell me what stage are you in, 13 and up. Good. Hannah, on your whiteboard, please tell me, what is it called when you're fascinated with your poop? Drew? Anal. What we got? What else would it be? All
You're
right.
just calling it as
No, I thought it was like the
One of
fixation,
the
the anal
I thought
fixation,
it
like
was
one of the two.
explosive or
It would be, it all happens in the anal stage though.
Okay.
It's a fixation of the anal stage. On your whiteboard, please tell me which one is focused on social connections. Here you go. What is it, Milan? Latency. All right, here we go. So psychoanalysis. All right, so who can explain to me why we have Freud and then we have a group called the Neo-Freudians? Who can explain why this has evolved? Sophia?
Because it started getting extremely crazy and
How?
Well, extra after his first couple, was it like 4? His first like
His first 5 theories are received okay.
5 theories. After that, he started getting more like deep and dark about his sexual desires and all that stuff
Yeah.
with people. So
I mean, one of the things he wanted is that if you were having problems with your parents, that you should have sex with your mom. Have sex with your dad. That was one of his like later theories in order to help kind of eradicate some of these personality things. I think we can all in our heads vomit physically, emotionally, psychologically. And at that point that's one of his very late ones. And as you can see, that is just
yes.
yeah, thank you for summarizing it for us all, Lee. So, if Freud becomes so extreme and so fascinated by this whole sex stuff, people are like, whoa, hold back,
No.
man. Like, hell no. So, Neo-Freudians agree on psychosexual stages, id, ego, superego. They also agree on conscious, preconscious, and
I like don't blame his
subconscious.
daughter for like
It's-
running away.
Yeah, she ran too.
Oh,
So, who is the biggest of your Neo-Freudians? He was his best friend and he was totally heartbroken. Deja? Carl Jung, absolutely. And what is Carl Jung's big theory? It's weird. It's weird. Does anyone remember? What do you got, Brittany? He believes in the collective unconscious. Remember that all of your memories are inherited. So if you are at the playground and a van drives by with a sign that says free puppies and free candies, and inside your stomach it lurches like, damn, that's a predator. Carl Jung would say, oh, well, someone has been picked up by a van that says free puppies, free candies, got murdered, and now you have that memory as like a warning. Does that make sense? So that's your personal unconscious, and then you have the collective unconscious. Your personal unconscious is all the experiences like you've had. Okay? Personal unconscious is your id, your ego, superego, all the things you've experienced and stuff like that. The collective unconscious is what connects me and you. And so that's interesting. And he also believes in archetypes and all that stuff. So you also have Adler. Adler believes in your... Oh. Yeah, that's weird. Adler believes in birth order. What does he mean by that? Who can raise their hand and explain the birth order theory, Lee?
Isn't it like the oldest kids get like the most attention, so they're like, I don't remember, like the second kids are like competitive. The
Yes.
third kids are just kind of
And resentful.
Resentful because they have to compete with the oldest kid for like attention, and the third kid just doesn't care. Like,
No, the third kid is usually more creative. Why are they usually more creative?
oh, because they have to like be there for themselves.
They have more time to develop. They have way more opportunity to have that all fostered because everyone fawns over the baby. I'm the middle child. So obviously the resentment, the competitiveness, that's entirely me. Okay, your firstborns are all your leaders. Who's oldest? Okay, isn't it annoying that you always have like little people looking up at you and you have to be like a good person? Yeah? No? Who here is a middle? Isn't it annoying? Ugh, Carson. Everything would be great for you, Carson. And then who's the babies? Would you agree you have it easier?
Attention teachers and students. Please find
Oh my
yourself-
God. Oh, this is your
Dude,
teenage
like the
angst.
lost
Seniors attending
Real like older siblings.
Alright, so horny.
Releases are due to Miss Stromsville by Wednesday. Need this film to attend the event. Seniors, you're now dismissed.
Do your parents compare your lives to like the standard?
Okay, so horny. Horny believes in basic anxiety, and what that is that the moment we were born, we realized we're the smallest, the newest things on the planet. So we inherited this super anxious anxiety, which made us feel uncomfortable. And that shapes our personality. If we cope with anxiety well, then we've turned out normal. If we do not cope with that anxiety well, we have neurotic, crazy personalities, quite like mine. Erickson, he believes that it's social expression, social relationships that shape our personality more than sexual. So he's your trust versus mistrust. He's your identity versus isolation, all of that. And technically, he is a neo-Freudian. All right, then you have your social cognitive, all that stuff. Reciprocal determinism is the belief that your personal experiences and your environment shape. If you're uncomfortable, do you thrive or do you struggle? Okay, absolutely. If you're surrounded by people who really support you and really genuinely care about you, do you survive, or do you struggle, or do you thrive? There you go. So that's reciprocal determinism. Depending on your environment dictates how well you do. I think it makes a lot of sense that rich people go further in life academically than poor people, correct? Because it's easier for them to succeed and they get driven more because of that. Poor people have, our lower socioeconomic people struggle with a lot of other issues that detract from their academic performance. Self-efficacy is the belief that you could do it. Now here's Rotter. Rotter believes in two major theories. The first one is internal locus and then external locus. Okay? Internal locus of control believes that everything is in your hands. That your personality is essentially shaped by the belief that if you want something, you can have it. So, theoretically, I totally believe in internal locus of control. That's who I am. If I work hard, it'll work out. So if I wanted to have six-pack abs, in my head, I know how to do it, right? Like, you eat really healthy. You have to do, like, a bunch of, like, workouts and, like, die hard for it for a long time, yes? Like, I know how to do it, I just can't. Because I love peanut butter cups, and I'd much rather sit on my couch and live life and go out to dinner with my girlfriends. Yes? Okay? Internal locus is saying, I could do this, I just don't want to, hence why I don't have a six-pack. Yes? External is the belief that outside factors have it. So, the reason why I don't have a six-pack is because Jesus doesn't love me enough to make me beautiful. Okay, that's external. That it's Jesus' fault, or it's Buddha's fault, it's Confucius's fault, it's the God's fault why I am not a size 2 with a raging, crazy six-pack eating potato chips on a regular basis. It's the gods. So, external is outside of your control. You typically see external locus of control with really religious people. Like my mom, she's weird. Some days she goes super religious, and then some days she goes super secular. So last week was a really rough week for everyone here at Plant High School. Can we disagree? Short week, lots of things going on, superintendent. Last week was a terrible week for me, trying to grade on top of teaching, on top of everything else. And my mom kept saying, Jesus is there for you.
Oh.
Jesus is there to help you. Like, just, let him help you. And my mom, like, she was trying to be, like, really supportive. Like, Jesus doesn't give you more than what you need. And, like, that's a really beautiful thing. I know, I kept saying my mom, I was like, well, Mom, I'm sitting at my kitchen table. Jesus can show up anytime now and help me start grading. Like, Jesus is welcome anytime to help me start grading. And she's like, that's not how it works. You just have to be open to him, and he will calm you. And I was like, oh, my God, Mom, I just can't right now. I was like, you let Jesus know I'm at my kitchen table. Send him a prayer and let him know. So, internal is that I can solve the problem. I can fix it. I just have to work hard enough. I just have to stop eating junk food and everything that gives me joy and happiness in this life, and I can have a six-pack. External is that this is who I am. This is my life path. I can't do anything about it, so I might as well have an ice cream today after school. Yes. So, all right, so that's your rotter, and that is your theories. Charlie, what do you need, darling? Oh, okay, it's right here. You don't need me at all. Okay, so your theory of personality is dealing with Rogers. Now, Rogers believes that we are seen in different ways, okay? That each of us has a self-concept. Every single one of you, I hope, could say one thing you're really good at, right? On your whiteboard, what is one thing you're really good at? What is one thing other people say you're good at, or that they like, or, cooking, all right, music, sketching, sleeping. Oh my gosh, I've never been complimented on my sleeping. I feel like I should be, because I'm really good at it. Okay, so our self-concept, and this gets hard, guys, so please listen up. Self-concept is how we think about ourselves with society helping us. I have never been told I am a good singer. I sing all the time. My self-concept believes that I'm a terrible singer because no one's ever acknowledged my singing talents. Now, if you've heard me sing, you know why no one has said I was a good thing, because I'm terrible at it and can't carry a tune. My self-concept is what society has told me I'm good at and what I feel that I'm good at, correct? Hello? Self is who you are in a perfect world to a degree. Who you are. Like, for instance, my husband, goodbye. Of what? This? Yeah.
Wait, so there's
Yeah,
Walters
quickly.
and Rogers.